Hey, right now, get ready for Tim Geddes and a whole new team.
And Blessing.
All right.
Oh, Blessing.
And Blessing's there.
Woo!
Get you in that third seat right there.
Mike never wants to give me credit, you know? Mike looked me in the eyes and said, Tim Geddes in the team. Every single time wants to deny me.
How you feeling, Bless?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm feeling good. Now, who is supposed to host this segment? Also, doesn't matter.
I think it's me, but
Okay.
you can do it if you want.
No, I was just curious.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
No, it's great, man. I'm Tim Geddes, everybody. This is Blessing. And of course, we have Tony Grayson from Summit Sphere today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Sound a little Antonblast.
Just a little bit.
Very exciting stuff. Again, thank you to everybody hanging out with us all day here on Twitch and YouTube. The best way to support all of the amazing devs today is to wishlist their games on Steam. So go check that out. There's a QR code that's popping up all over the place. You can click that, or you can go to kindafunny.com/mix to do it, and it'll help everybody out. We appreciate you. I hope you're all having a great time. I hope you're seeing games that you love, games you've never heard of, maybe some that you've been anticipating getting a little bit more. One like Antonblast, a game that me and Bless saw, and both of us are like, oh, this is up our alley, up a show.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you.
Let me get you up on the mic here
Oh,
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss the mic.
Get up in
Yeah,
there.
you got to kiss that thing. You got to kiss that
I
thing.
guess my first question is, what are the inspirations for Antonblast?
Do you really have to ask?
I know.
Not really. I just want to hear it from your mouth to God's ears.
Okay, so obviously we like Wario. We like Wario a lot. Couple of other things that probably, I mean, some people have been catching on more. We started with Wario as a base. We're also massive Crash Bandicoot fans, right? Just like Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3.
People of taste, everybody.
We actually love CTR as well.
Good. The best kart racer of that generation, some would say.
The best kart
right
racer.
people.
The
Okay.
The PS1 and PS4 generation,
is.
right? Oh man,
It is.
I
I would
Diddy Kong
say-
Racing exists. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Kong
listen,
Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing walks so Crash Team Racing could run.
100%.
That's really where I'm at.
You know, listen, I'm not.
like this, Blake.
This isn't the stream to argue. All right, we gotta play. We gotta show off the game. We can stay here for 30 minutes talk about why Diddy Kong Racing.
So
is the
hold on.
GOAT.
Why are you bringing up Crash Team Racing, though?
So, we have a pretty interesting movement mechanic here, which I can get into a little more once we get playing. We'll probably want to get that full screen, right?
Yeah, I think we're still in the process of setting it up.
Yeah, actually, you guys are supposed to set it up. I was just trying to help. So, Tim, can you grab the mouse there
Yes, I
and
can.
hit options, hit full screen, and then we should be ready to rock and
There
roll.
it is.
It'll work with gamepad.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't even think it's on though. It doesn't look
If you turn it on, it'll be on.
on. Oh,
Yeah.
it might be out of battery. Oh,
No, we're good.
Hold on,
Nah,
hold
nah,
on.
nah,
We're
they're
rocking.
fully charged.
All right, go
It'll
for
turn
it.
on in a second. Hold on.
I'm gonna stop there.
Doing the blinky blink thing. I mean, you can set it up on the options while I do this.
Boom. But yeah, you can keep
So,
talking here.
We're like WASD here, so WASD, JK.
Hell yeah. So yeah, what's
Yeah.
the Crash Team Racing?
Right.
about?
So this is going to be a little hard to explain without having the game in front of us for context, but you can't really have like a modern, successful indie game without having fun movement. And we didn't really want to just do like, okay, here's Wario Land again. So I always really enjoyed like Wario's charging move, but I thought, how can we make that a little crazier? Can we swear on this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I fucking love Crash Team Racing's boost mechanics. And I was like, what if we just took these racing boost game mechanics and implemented them into a platformer?
Okay.
So we're going to see a little bit of that. We have like what we call the clutch boost, and it's a lot of fun. So this is the first level of the game, Boiler City, Anton's Hood. And yeah, that's Dynamite Anton over there. Should I just like waffle on about what
Go
the story
for it,
is?
man. Now, I just want to let you know real quick, because like obviously you look at this and it looks like Wario Land, a game series that I would say I respect more than I actually have too much experience with. I'm
Right.
a Mario Land guy.
Yeah.
But obviously it looks fantastic. You're talking about Crash Team Racing movement there. Like that
Yeah.
sounds incredibly cool.
Oh, thank you very much. So, to go into a little detail on what the story is here, because that's actually something that we have a public demo. This is a little more advanced than that one. The story was something that people always bitched about, like, oh, we don't know what's going on here. It could be anything. So, I'll explain.
Yeah.
You play as Dynamite Anton. You can see him right there. And you're on a death mission to hell to kill Satan after he's stolen your prized spirit collection.
Great.
Love that.
Satan's stolen your spirit collection because he's jealous of how much more red you are than he is.
Okay.
So that's really the genesis.
Everything you need to know.
Yeah, everything you need to know. Again, you can't have a great platformer without a great story. So.
Yeah, and you said Genesis. Speaking of Genesis, I'm getting some Genesis vibes from the music here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I actually composed the soundtrack myself.
No way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh.
That is super. What were some of the inspirations there?
Well, I mean, of course, we look at, like, you know, those classic games, right? Like Earthworm Jim was a big one. Little taboo to talk about the music for that these days, but
Exactly.
we've all seen the videos. But obviously, like, Earthworm Jim growing up was a great inspiration. The Crash music was a big inspiration. A big part of the process with the music here was those old games. Actually, I'm going to go the other direction here for a second. One of our primary mechanics here is actually a 2.5D layer jump mechanic. So if you stand on that spring there and you hold the orange there, yeah. If you hold up and jump, you go into the background.
Tropical freeze
Love
of you.
that.
Very Tropical Freeze. That game is another massive inspiration for us.
You guys got a lot of good inspirations.
Well, I'd like to think so. We can only hope to get close to matching them. But with respect to the music, one of the really important factors was, like, all those classic games like Earthworm Jim, Crash, Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
You know, they had sequence music, right? And that's a big part of the feel, but they didn't have, like, real-time audio processing or anything. And, you know, we don't really have data restrictions or anything in terms of space. So we were like, hey, let's just go and source those original machines that they use, those original data files that they use to make that music, all the old instruments, etc. So, you know, I can tell you, oh, here's what the marimba in Crash was. Like, I know what that is.
Awesome.
It's an emulated Proteus 1 for anyone watching at home. If you wanna like just go and make bootleg Crash music like me, then go for it. And we just take that stuff, but we also do, like, modern mixing and mastering, because now we're streaming music, right? So it sounds a little more powerful than that stuff used to. But beyond, like, the game inspiration, because between us, even though we're making something that is distinctly inspired, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of, okay, we like games, let's make stuff that's inspired by games. So for me, like, my musical inspirations, I love Nine Inch Nails, you know, I love Rage Against the Machine, like, that kind of stuff moved me a lot. And then we have a lot of New Jack Swing stuff, like
Of course.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
all that shit. That's here too. So hopefully we're making something that lives up to that stuff, but if not, it's probably good too.
So a lot of the games you're talking about from a gameplay side are, I'd say, the more, like, it's a weird way to put it, but non-traditional 2D platformers. It's not the Sonics. Like, you citing Crash Bandicoot, a little more 3D there, but, like,
Yeah.
Wario Land. Like, what is it about those games that is unique?
Well, I mean, it's the road less traveled, right? Like, I wouldn't be able to count how many Sonic-inspired platformers there are out there, which is great. Like, I love those games. Like, Sonic Adventure, for me, is one of the greatest platformers ever made. But again, you know, that's kind of the road that everyone's traveled. And for us, like, how many Wario Land-inspired games are out there? Now. But there's not many. How many Crash-inspired games are out there? I mean, outside of, like, the PlayStation 1 days when everyone was making, like,
Yeah.
their own bootleg. Like, hey, I loved Eminem's Shell Shocked. That game was great.
Oh my God.
Eminem is shell shocked.
I like this guy. Tony, you need to hang out more.
Anytime. But yeah, it's the road less traveled. You know, for me, it's weird because Crash in particular is a game that sold millions upon millions of copies. These are games that are ostensibly successful, and they're still successful. Like the Insane Trilogy has sold like tens of millions,
Yeah.
right? But people really don't take lessons from those games. Like, with us, when we were making this game, obviously it's a 2D game, so maybe the influence in terms of design isn't as apparent. But for us, we looked at, okay, would Crash just a mechanical die again approach, right?
Yep.
So in our case, the Wario Land games really aren't very difficult. They're kind of more exploration platformers. I wanted to make something that was hard as nails. So Blessing's having a good time with us, but a lot of people haven't.
I'm a gamer, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. So that was really like a big part of our approach. Like, you're going to die a lot in this game. You're going to have funny death animations.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yep, very Crash in that respect. And again, that's just stuff that maybe you're not seeing too often these days. And you know, I also really just appreciate, again, we're citing Crash here because that's kind of like people at home are going to understand. Of course, you know, if I go and cite like, hey, I love this part of Earthworm Jim 2 specifically, who's playing those games.
I mean, one thing I'm kind of loving is like each area having its own little name that pops up.
Oh yeah, that was a big one. So if we're gonna talk weird inspirations, so growing up, I had picked up this weird online bootleg collection of Commodore 64 games.
Oh wow, okay.
Okay, like I have extremely bizarre influences. The whole team does. Like we just love weird shit. Like our producer / level designer JB loves the Kingdom Hearts games. So there's inspiration from those games and the bosses, for example. You know, our environment artist loves Half-Life. So there's Half-Life inspiration, how the construction of these levels is built. But with respect to Commodore 64, a lot of that weird Eurojank stuff, they always named the rooms. And the one that inspired me was this bizarre, I think it was like a bootleg game. I don't think it was legitimate, but it was a game called Snoopy. And I distinctly remember it was a side-scrolling platformer, single screen, and every room would have its own name. Like every level would have its own name. So it was like, you can do it, Snoopy. Oh, watch out for the spikes, Snoopy.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the inspiration here, just because, number one, I thought that was extremely funny to talk to the player like that, but also, it does help for levels like this, which are more open, where, hey, I remember this room's called the wine cellar, right? Just as an example. So, functionally useful. It's happy hour.
Oh God, what does that mean?
You gotta run back to the start.
Oh shoot. Okay. Oh, the timer's going down.
Yep.
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
Oh, I love the back here with
God, okay.
wrecking balls.
Oh!
That was awesome.
That was great.
So that's really kind of just the gist of it, really. You're going to die a lot, particularly in these segments.
Yeah.
But we try to keep them quick and snappy so you don't feel too frustrated about it.
So what's the Antonblast? What's up with that name?
Okay, so kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short. Before this, we had a game called Anton Ball. Originally, before that, we had a game called Anton Ball Classic, which was something I submitted to a Game Jam starring this character. He was originally just named Red Guy. Because it was a Game Boy themed Game Jam, he couldn't be Red anymore. So I was just like, well, fuck, okay, he's Anton. He just looks like an Anton. And then we did Anton Ball Deluxe, which is like a published game that did pretty well. It's very positive on Steam. Not really as cool as this. It's more of an arcade platformer, but please buy it. It gives me money. I realize I didn't do a great job of selling it, but I promise it's good. Great even. So Antonblast, when it came time to do this game, and we really wanted to do this game first before any of the other stuff. When it came time to do this one, Anton Ball was a name that people were saying a lot. Like, there was an audience that just loved saying Anton Ball because it sounded funny.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to keep the same naming convention. Wanted to pick something that everything explodes in this game. The enemies explode. There's a lot.
I will say I love how this game feels to play.
Thank you.
Like, I think the fact that there's so many destructible things keeps me engaged. Like the collectibles, like all the effects happening on screen. Goddamn.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about, right? There's a method to the madness. Because I think with games like this,
Okay.
So here's the one Sonic inspiration here, which is some areas will have like an up and a down path. So if you fail in an area...
Dude, he's speaking our language, man.
Dude. I'm into this.
If you fail in an area, you're not necessarily totally fucked. Oh, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Sick.
Yeah, no, there's like a really good sense of momentum here that also kind of reminds me of Sonic.
So what's going on here with this slot machine in the upper right?
So we have a combo counter going on here, and this is something that we're consistently workshopping, but we reward destruction, right? So right now, Blessing's at 8 tier, and that's kind of the best you can get. But we have a bunch of different ones. Like there's Groovy, there's they're all just sound bites, really. So
love that.
We're workshopping it. It's going to be a little more complex in the final game.
Easy peasy.
I'm a big fan of the Tony
There we
Hawk.
go. There we go.
That's what it is, dude.
Yeah.
They call me platformer Poppy. So
I'm really
that about me.
dude. I mean, I'm proud of you. That was awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah, most people don't have such good luck.
Tim. You gotta try this.
All right,
you
let's
gotta
go.
get
Try
like
it. Try it out. We have 2 levels in this one. Cinnamon Springs is the other level we have. We have 2 playable characters here as well. They actually play the same exact way. Just depends on who you like more. I like Annie a lot.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll say. Boiler City, great tutorial level. Cinnamon Springs is like mid-game. That's like...
I'm jumping in.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
he's
for it.
jumping
Let's just
Go
do
for
it.
it.
He's jumping in.
I mean, you're good at platformers.
Let's see how this goes.
So what's been the reaction so far?
Whoa!
God damn.
Jesus.
Yeah, Tim's pulling out techniques that I even didn't even figure out.
There's a lot of hidden tech in this game.
Oh my God.
That's my dog.
Oh,
His
that's
little
so
Pomeranian?
adorable.
Yeah.
I have 2 of them myself.
Ah, lucky you.
Looks like my boy Moose right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, hey, look at that Tim Easter egg.
Oh shit!
There is so much going on. I love
There
it.
is a lot
Yeah,
going
so
on here.
what's the reaction been from the audience? You know, I've been seeing like quite a few people will tag us and be like, "Oh, have you guys seen this game, Antonblast?"
Oh, I mean, it's been fantastic, honestly. Like, way beyond what we could have ever anticipated. People really like the game. It's super popular. And I mean, I hate to say that. I don't mean to be self-aggrandizing, and I say that.
Not
but,
you,
like,
man.
Oh, no.
oh, shit.
Oh, I could land on that. Ah!
Ah!
Dang, I thought you were a gamer, Tim.
I know, I did
Not such a
too.
gamer.
The support that we've gotten from the community has been ridiculous.
That's awesome.
There's fan art. There's really bizarre, sexy fan art. Whatever.
Once you hit that, you know you made it.
Yeah, right? There's a lot of hidden tech going on here, by the way. One thing I really like, I saw Blessing pull it off a little bit probably by accident, but
When I like rolled through everything.
when you are about to hit an enemy, if you press the attack button again, you will actually spin through them and get more momentum.
Oh, cool! I love that.
So same thing happens with the bricks, actually. That one's probably not a good one to try it on, but
Tim's locked in.
yeah, it's not
This
bad.
is awesome,
No, he's
man.
locked in.
It does feel really,
It
really
feels
good.
really good to play. And yeah, like I want to compliment the art style as well. I know you guys probably covered all this, but I was in the zone. But I think the game is really cool to look at. I
Thank
love
you.
like the layers of like the levels going on. Right, you have the foreground stuff and then the background stuff. And behind the background, you have like that mountain in the back. So it just feels like there's a lot going on. But then on the actual foreground itself, you know, you have all these collectibles, you have all this destructible stuff, you have those platforms falling in front of you. It's just very active and involved, and like Tim said, controlled chaos, and it's really coming through. Like I think it really comes together in a really fun way.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Whoa!
Whoa! Yay,
my gosh.
You're hitting the wobble drops.
How much fun do you have just coming up with bullshit? You know what I mean?
Dude, we there's like a whole fucking thing. We have a spreadsheet of like, okay, we're gonna name stuff. So a lot of the enemies are just like Biff. We have a seal enemy called Juan Pablo.
Juan Pablo is one of my
So-
a dude on my soccer team.
So
Like no joke. We talk about Juan Pablo all the time.
you want to hit circle for that, by the way. It's covered in the tutorial, but you didn't play that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool.
So yeah, we have like
There
a
we
crash
go.
baseball slide.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so you really kind of get a feel for it when you play it, especially. Like, it is kind of... The Wario Land games are really loose, very heavy. This is heavy too, but there is a certain tightness to Crash, right?
Yeah.
And so that was really what we wanted to hit. But it's like Crash on Coke. It's
Yeah,
kind of...
I mean, that is honestly a great way to put it here.
Focus on
Because it's wild. Like, there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
But you feel in control.
Right. That was the most important thing to nail. And people bitched at us in playtests. Like,
Yeah.
that was the most important thing, listening to that feedback. Like, I don't understand this. This feels crazy.
So, do you have a voice in the back of your head telling you, all right, when's the Anton 3D platformer?
Yes, of course.
I could, like, based on everything you're talking about with your inspirations, I'm like, this sounds like it sounds like you're working your way toward a 3D game at some point.
I mean, listen, if people are for it, then yeah, for sure. We'll absolutely do it. We're down for the idea. But we want to get this one out first and see how people respond to the world, right? Like, pre-release hype is something, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, who knows? Maybe this game will come out and it'll bomb and it'll get extremely negative reviews on Steam. But probably.
No, I don't think it's gonna bomb.
Yeah, I think this is going to be.
I think we were.
It's gonna bomb in a
quite
good
okay
way.
here.
Yeah.
Boom!
I mean, people are. Somebody in chat earlier said Anton 3D Blast, which I thought was very clever.
I feel like if we make a 3D one, that has to be the name.
My God, that's a brilliant idea.
So I really like this segment. It's not anything
Voice
special,
movements.
but it's just fun to watch. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was good. The vibration's good, too. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of vibration, and 2D platformers don't often use it that way.
No, they
this
don't.
is good.
So, how many people do you have working on the team?
So we've expanded the team a little bit recently. We started with a smaller team of about 8, but we have recently expanded to about, I want to say 12 or 13 working on this. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting any of you back home. I feel like I should have a greater grip on that part. But
I never know how many people work here at Kind of Funny. You're like, how big's Kind of Funny? I'm like 11 people.
but it's a small team still. you know, and I feel like we're punching up a bit with this game. It's
you're keeping up with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the polish is kind of unreal.
The polish is there. It feels great.
I appreciate that so much, and the team I'm sure does.
And
as
do you
well.
guys have a release date?
No.
Okay. It feels like so. If I played this in a final version, it feels right.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's 2024. You know, it's this year. People won't have to wait too long, but we want to make sure it's just right. You know, we announced the game back in 2022. We had a Kickstarter campaign that was very successful out the gate, which I was surprised about. And I know people are excited, but the lucky thing for us is we're not in a rush to get this thing out, right?
Yeah,
we want to make sure that it's 100% perfect, and we won't release it until it is. So
That's amazing to hear, man.
2026. I'm joking.
This was. I love the little Pomeranian popping up. I'm obsessed with this game. Like this is very, very
This is so
bizarre.
cool.
I had to put my dog everywhere.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
totally understand that.
Yeah, this is like a game that if Tim Geddes had ran a studio,
Yeah.
I think this is the game.
So that was the first transformation that you've experienced. So obviously it is still like a Wario-like. And if you go back to the start there, we have these transformers that will turn you into the tornado form.
Very Yoshi's Island of you.
Yes. And if you hold down the clutch button, it'll actually make you go faster.
Clutch button is.
The attack button.
Oh yeah, it does.
Look at that. She gets a little sick. So it kind of just becomes a timing puzzle, right?
Cool.
I love the sound effects too.
God, that's super dope. So, you mentioned you have a small team.
Yes.
But you are, what's your role, like your title?
So I'm a fearless leader at Summit Sphere.
Okay.
But I am the game director on this. I also work on design, composition, and art direction.
Yeah.
And the sound design, of course.
So, and I just want to work my way back to you because you mentioned, you're doing the soundtrack as well.
Yes.
Is that did you learn how to make music for game design, or did you already make music and then happen to start designing games?
So that's a really interesting question. So I was always a musician. First. I mean, games were my first love. I always wanted to make games, but I went into music as a career for a bit. And a lot of the aesthetic of this game is actually inspired just by the weird shit that I saw as a touring musician.
Yeah.
So I did that first. I was never really like massively successful at it, but I kind of learned the ropes, right? And so because of that, I was able to apply those lessons to this game's music, which it's not as transferable as you would think. I mean, by knowing music, you have an advantage to start with, but making, like rock songs is very different to scoring a game like this.
Oh yeah.
I think you can actually just jump over that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you broke down the gold barriers. But it's fun to, clap them around. Oh, whoa, shit!
Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go.
There you go. Woo. So, is this Earth? Like, where are they at?
So this is,
What's going on here? What's the setting?
so this is the town where everyone has gangrene. So this is Boiler City.
Boiler City, okay.
It is on the Back Burner Peninsula. So the way that the Antonverse works is
Antonverse.
so we you have to imagine it as a kind of alt Earth, right? Where we have there's the Back Burner Peninsula on this globe. Just imagine like a watery globe. You have the Back Burner Peninsula, and then on the other side of the world you have Japan, and then that's it.
Oh.
So the Back Burner Peninsula is not connected to anything.
Okay. So it's the good ending where only Japan survived. Okay.
Yes, so this is actually post-nuclear war.
Yeah, and Japan was like, fuck everybody else. Right?
And that's why the Anton characters are all colored strange. We get this question a lot, by the way, so I just want to have it on the record. The Anton characters are not meant to be like any ethnicity or like race or nationality. Like I've had people go like, is Anton Mexican? Is Anton Russian? Is Anton Native American? And he's not like any of those things. He's straight up just like a Boiler City denizen. He is a Groovenian.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, but I had to get that in there.
So
Yeah.
now I'm just veering into like this fun questions.
Yeah.
So, if
please.
somebody came to you and they're like, all right, you have the option to adapt Antonblast in a different medium. You can make an Antonblast cartoon.
Okay.
You can make the live action film. You can make whatever you want to. Antonblast board game, tabletop game, whatever. What would be your dream situation?
I mean, I think for me, like, it is just so rooted in cartoons, right? Like, I didn't get into this too much, but like, so much of it is just like, hey, I loved Cow and Chicken. I loved Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Fuck yeah, dude.
You
That's
know,
what I'm talking about.
we
don't talk about Cow and Chicken enough.
We really don't.
We don't talk about I Am Weasel.
I loved Beavis and Butthead, right?
Okay.
Like Anton and Annie, in a lot of ways, are Beavis and Butthead XPs. Like they don't talk much. We have you got to
What
gun
am I
it,
doing wrong
Tim.
here?
You got to gun it. Just once you get up there, just keep gunning it.
All right.
Hold it down. But yeah, we loved like those older cartoons, just the really irreverent stuff.
Okay.
Let's go.
We love that really irreverent stuff. And for me, I think that the way the characters are made and the way the world is and how vibrant everything is,
Satisfying, man.
I think it just makes sense to do a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's why I asked the question. Is I'm looking at this and I'm like, dude, I could see this easily transferring into early 2000s Nickelodeon cartoons.
that's the
sort of
dream.
Style. Yeah.
That's the dream, right?
Like this gives me like a what's the one that we all loved? That like kind of inspired SpongeBob.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy's great too. You know, like all that stuff for us was just a massive inspiration in terms of how the game was rendered, how it looked. Also, again, you know, the weird shit that we've seen in person. So much of it's inspired by life. A lot of Boiler City is inspired by my hometown of Miami, which you can tell by the snow-capped mountains in this level. So yeah, you know, for me it's a cartoon, easy.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Oh, you skipped it, bastard. Whoa!
Oh no!
Do you, when this game comes out,
Yes.
obviously you can't control where the community takes it, but you envision like what the community, I guess like what that's gonna look like post game. Because I can, as Tim's playing and as I played it, like immediately I'm like, it could be fun to speed run this, right? But like,
Yeah.
you see where. Do you have
what?
a vision of where the community might take it?
You know, I'll put it this way: where the community's gone already is beyond my wildest dreams. Like we have, like our Discord server has over 7,500 people in it. So for me, just that level of success has already been like kind of terrifying.
Oh come on!
Oh no!
How'd that happen?
I don't know.
See, like that's like the Sunset Vista stuff, right? But yeah, I mean, we've had speedrunners, we've had people make sexy art. I don't know where the community will take it. I feel like it's kind of hit that point now where we can't control it.
Yeah. Is that exciting or scary?
I mean, look, once you put art out, it's no longer yours.
Yeah.
So I think as long as people stay cool and respectful, then go for it, right? Go for it.
Love the cannons, man. They're
Games are
Donkey
written in
Kong.
the game, dude.
We had to get those cement mixers in there.
Tim is,
Shit!
oh my god.
No,
Tim.
no,
Tim is
no.
Tim is playing this like it's only up.
But you kind of see where we're going with the Crash stuff, where
Yep.
it's sort of like a trial and error deal.
Totally. I mean, you dropped it to Sunset Vista. That's insane, man.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, I'm
Whoa. Sorry, I was getting tense there. But
What platforms is it coming out on?
so right now it's Steam and Switch.
Steam and Switch.
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, that doesn't mean that in the future we won't do other platforms, but for now we're targeting those. Nintendo has been an amazing partner.
That's awesome.
They've been very receptive to the game, so we're happy to work with them.
That's awesome.
With the Steam Deck being a thing, are you like aiming for verification at launch, or is
Yeah,
that like a
of course.
secondary?
Of course, I mean, Steam Deck's something that we always consider. Like, I will do a lot of my play testing on the game on
On Steam Deck, hell yeah,
yeah.
dude.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I love it. I love what Steam Deck did for consoles, frankly.
Yeah. Wait, that's whatchamacallit? That's is that a Mario 2
Mario
reference?
3 thing going on?
I don't know. Yeah, I always thought this guy kind of looked like Bowser.
Yeah.
Or like those.
Because it looks like the things at the end of the level in Mario 2,
sick.
like the thing that you would like. Oh, you would fight.
Oh,
Birdie.
the doors.
Yeah, and then you would put.
Oh
the door.
yeah, I kind of see that.
Yeah.
That's not intentional, but I feel like I feel like it must have shown up somewhere. I see Tim just wants to like break everything.
Dude,
Yeah.
it just feels good, man. Oh, we're running out of time here, and I'm very upset about
Oh no.
Yeah, as we're closing out, so I guess,
Yeah.
is there anything you want the audience to know about this game?
Please wishlist us at antonblast.com. It helps us immensely. Other than that, if you like what you've seen, be sure to check us out. Follow us on Twitter if we can still follow that.
Yeah. We all call it Twitter.
Oh, she got covered in snow.
What's that?
At Summit Sphere.
Summit Sphere.
And if you look up Anton Blast, it'll come up. Yeah, that's it, really. I don't have any special messages. I don't have anything to wax poetic about. I'm just hanging out, man.
I love
I mean,
it,
listen,
man.
we got 2 more minutes of hanging out, and so we're gonna hang out and watch him do his best.
Try
Come
my
on,
best.
Tim.
Do you know what I mean? What's going on over here?
Isn't this your second game, third game?
So this is our second game as a studio.
Second game as a studio. Awesome.
Many of us have worked on different games that have come out. That's a weird way of putting it, but we've all been making games for a while. Like, I've been making games for 16 years, right?
Oh wow.
They're not very good, but
But it all led to this.
it all led to this.
Well, now I'm like, I got to check out the previous Anton game.
Yeah.
I mean, Anton Ball's a good time. It's more of like an arcade title, and I feel
it was Mario Brothers inspired, right?
Yes.
The original Mario Brothers.
Yes, it was basically a Mario Bros. Arkanoid hybrid.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's
That
really
sounds awesome. I love Arkanoid.
It's really fun. Like it's fun. It had an audience, right? But I think it did about as well as like an arcade-inspired game could do. It made its money back and more, and it pays for my car, so I can't complain.
Pin Pan Paint says, "Can you guys try dying in lava?"
Yeah, please. You should probably run onto the ground because like the iframes will reset.
There you go.
That's like a cheat. We didn't want to Mario 64 it.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the classic crash burn.
Wow.
Oh, I love it, man. Wait, this is legitimately awesome. My
Yeah.
eyes are on this game.
is
I'm
incredible.
like, oh, okay. Oh,
I
Thank you
cannot
so
wait for this
much.
to come out.
well, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I was gonna call you Anton. Tony, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks so much for having me.
Everybody, make sure to follow Summit Sphere on Twitter. Make sure to wishlist Anton Blast on Steam. Can you wishlist on Nintendo? Is that a thing?
We don't have a Switch
page.
store page just yet, but
Gotcha.
stay tuned.
Keep a lookout for that.
Pin
Again,
Pan Paint says, "I animated that."
hell yeah.
Shout out to you.
Shout
That's
out.
fantastic.
Love you, Junie.
I love it, man. All right.
Cool.
We are
All right,
about to
we're gonna
bounce
rotate.
off, but we're going to have many more very, very cool people joining to talk about their cool games. Remember, kindoffunny.com/mix to wishlist all of the games going on today. I'll see y'all later.
I'm gonna stick around
Ooh.
because joining me is the one and only Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez. Andy, how's it going?
Come join us, Max.
Come through.
Well,
I get to flip over my note card
yes, you do.
because